Father God, I want to thank you for my money. Father God, I want to thank you for letting me make this money and eat this money and love this money. Father God, I want you to tell these people stop being mad about my money or showing my money, Father God. Because, Father God, I remember when you gave these people pandemic money, Father God, and they threw their money in my face, Father God. Father God, I remember when these people were stunting, Father God, showing their money on Instagram, Father God, and going on vacations and doing what they like to do, Father God. Father God, it's not my fault that the devil got in their way and they went broke, Father God. Father God.
Is there the recession on money out here? Because every fucking body is broke and trying to borrow money or hold some money. There gotta be goddamn jobs that's giving motherfucking money, and then nobody want to pay you your money back. Don't get nobody.
I really do that for real. That's real. We in the trailer, bro. We in the trailer. I'm in the freaking trailer. I'm a million today. I'm a million today. I'm a million today. I got the money.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, a popular social media influencer / rapper from Brooklyn who goes by the name Mayo on Instagram has recently been picked up by the feds, and a lot of people are speculating on whether it has something to do with his social media presence or not. According to reports, we know for sure that an investigation was launched and Bo was included, along with a few others who are now being charged with drug dealing charges amongst others. What makes everything worse for Bo in his case is that he's already currently on federal parole for a prior case, which includes similar charges that he's now facing again in this new case. Most people are confused, knowing that he was already on federal parole, but the way he was flashing large stacks of money on social media, you couldn't tell. Now, we're not in the business of telling people what to do or what they can't do with their money, but if you're already on federal parole and you know you're doing illegal things in the street, flaunting on social media like the feds aren't watching is a total recipe for disaster. Some are saying that Bo was being watched by the feds since he got out, but there's no real confirmation to that at all. However, we do know that whether they're watching or not, you make yourself a target when you decide to be loud, knowing you're doing something that could possibly land you back in prison. Bo Mayo isn't the only one on social media flexing and doing the most for the gram, as you have a bunch of guys in New York who claim to run the city due to how much money they're making.
It's a fact. You know, car like an elephant, trunk in a fucking front.
My goodness.
Stop playing, nigga. Count, nigga.
Stop spending the money. The song come out tonight, 12 o'clock, 50 platforms. Make sure y'all tune in. We back outside. We back outside. That's it.
But when you have a lot to lose with jail time already hanging over your head like Bo did, you can't play the game the same way they are because they aren't in the same position. Now, aside from Bo's new case, we're going to get into a previous case he also caught, which initially resulted in him doing 12 years in prison and coming home just a few years ago. Bo also comes from a well-known family in Brooklyn, and it seems like getting money is just a part of their bloodline, as his family members have also been caught up in drug dealing cases when he was just a teenager. So we're going to get into all that and also highlight how flexing on the gram ended bad for Bo Mayo. But before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. Now, in order to understand Bo Mayo, you have to understand where he's from and the bloodline that he's affiliated with, and everything will make sense as to why he's caught up in everything that he is. They say the apple don't fall too far from the tree, but unfortunately in this case, he will only get the same results, which isn't positive. Back in 2005, according to a New York Post article, a family that went by the last name Mayo from Brooklyn, New York, was busted for spreading drugs across New York City, resulting in them making tens of millions of dollars in proceeds. The 6 siblings from the Mayo family, along with their kids, were accused of conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute controlled substances including CC base, which is crack, and marijuana. Ronald Mayo, Alan Covington, James Mayo, Willie Mayo, Magdalena Mayo, Brenda Mayo, Denise Mayo, Angelina Mayo, Aisha Mayo, John Mayo, Raheem Mayo, Michael Sledge, and Siobhan Gums were all a part of the 13 individuals that were arrested in the drug sweep. The operation, dubbed Hold the Mayo, was conducted by New York Drug Enforcement Task Force, which included the DEA, NYPD, and New York State Police. They solely relied on evidence obtained through undercover narcotic purchases from the suspects and wiretaps. James, Willie, Magdalena, Brenda, Denise, Angelina, Aisha, John, Raheem, and Michael Sledge were accused of selling drugs from a 67 Stuyvesant Avenue residence from 1999 up until they were caught in the year 2005. Siobhan Gums was fairly new, as the complaint only described her as selling marijuana for just a few months up until they were caught. The product was supplied by Ronald Mayo, aka Ron, who was labeled the ringleader, and Alan Covington, who was considered the manager put in place by Ronald. According to the complaint, from 1999 to 2005, Ron acquired at least 150 kilos of CC. The day Ronald was caught and his home was raided, they seized 2 kilos of CC and approximately $10,000 in cash from his residence located at 777 Green Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Investigators say their CC distribution linked the Mayo family to some of the top drug dealers in Colombia at the time, which they were connected by a trafficker by the name of Raul Palmer, who introduced Ronald to a supplier by the name of Don Bernardo. Investigators say after Pablo Escobar's empire fell, Bernardo would rise as he would allegedly ship drugs from Colombia through the Dominican Republic to Florida and Brooklyn. The Mayo family was also accused of being a part of numerous shootings and robberies throughout Brooklyn area in the 80s, but when everything would crumble for the Mayo's family illegal drug dealings, the 13 Mayo affiliates will all be hit with federal conspiracy charges and face life in prison for their roles. Now, they say the cycle of life is pretty crazy, and seeing how Bo Mayo would suffer a similar fate would explain why. Not just in his recent case, but back in 2008, Bo Mayo was caught in another drug sweep where he was accused of selling CC and H along with others. Narcotics agents say from June of 2006 to December 2007, an operation in Blair County, Pennsylvania netted approximately $2 million. Then in 2006, they ramped it up and realized that from 2003 to 2007, drugs were being trafficked from sources stationed in New York City. This traced back to blood gang members who was labeled very dangerous, and those individuals were named Rakim Bo or Bobo Mayo, Randy Braids Hernandez, and John J. Miz Miles. In that case, jurors found that 7 of the drug suppliers were originally from Brooklyn, New York, and worked with others that lived in Blair County. Investigators say buyers used 2 cell phone numbers to contact the New York suppliers to place orders specifically for drugs. That's when the New York suppliers contacted their distributors in Blair County and told them the amount needed to deliver, price and location for the transaction, and the rest was history. Distributors then directed a courier to take the H and CC to a designated meeting place for the transaction, and that's how everything ran smoothly. The money was wired back to New York after everything was complete, which traced back to Mayo, Hernandez, and other Brooklyn affiliates. Everything would be going smooth, but that's until a confidential informant was able to make 17 controlled purchases of drugs, which led to 5 search warrants at various Blair County homes. Agents seized 1,967 bags of H with an estimated street value of $78,680. They also found 196 bags of CC with an estimated street value of $11,200. They found $2,700 in cash and various materials associated with the delivery and sale of drugs. For that case, Mayo will be given a 10 to 20 year sentence where he will only serve 12 years out of it and come home in 2020. Now around this time, Mayo will be released but still held on federal parole until the rest of his sentence was finished. Mayo will make a name for himself on social media as he will be widely known for showing large amounts of money and giving motivational advice to people as he flaunted it. Mayo will also start a rap career for himself, which people know him for doing as well, but everything will come crashing down November 13, 2024, when news will come out that Mayo was caught in yet another drug sweep for the second time. Now, according to the Peekskill Herald, 4 buildings in Peekskill suspected to be a part of a narcotics packaging and distribution operation were raided by federal law enforcement officials early Tuesday morning, November 13th. It said that the raid was a part of a larger operation that had 8 search warrants executed, including 4 in Peekskill, Yorktown, 2 in New York City, and 1 in Bayonne, New Jersey. Around 4 a.m., the FBI Safe Streets Task Force, the Westchester County Police Department, Westchester County District Attorney's Office, New York State Police, the Yorktown Police, the Ossining Police, the NYPD, the DEA, the Yonkers PD, and the Bayonne, New Jersey Police Department executed 8 search warrants, resulting in 7 arrests. The arrested suspects are Jerome Reed, Jason Tinsley, Misha Cato, Gary Burkett, Lamar Kingwood, Rakim Mayo, and Ryan Thomas. They are allegedly responsible for selling thousands of dollars of narcotics in Peekskill, including C, H, fentanyl, C, and methamphetamine. From the 8 searches, law enforcement agencies were able to take 3 guns off the street, $91,000 in cash, 87 grams of PCP, 1 kilo of CC, and 2.5 kilos of methamphetamine. The investigation was several months into the operation and started in Peekskill from information the police department obtained during quality of life initiatives in downtown. As the investigation grew, they included the FBI Safe Streets Task Force. The investigation was started because of quality of life issues in the downtown area, and I'm not too sure what that means, but judging from the context, the residents were complaining about how things were around there involving drug addicts and just how the place looked as a whole, and the police looked further into the root of where the addicts were getting drugs from, and it traced back to the suspects. There was no telling how much time Mayo was looking at for these new charges, but we do know that he's already on federal parole, and he has a background of having these similar charges already, so it's not looking too good. Some say social media may have played a role, as the feds may have been watching him flaunt large amounts of money and making a connection with the charges that he's now being accused of. Whether that's the reason or not, let this be a reason to anybody out there that think it's okay to flaunt money on social media, knowing you're obtaining it illegally. All you're doing is putting a target on your own back, and when you knock on jail's door long enough, eventually it'll answer. Y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out.